Welcome to the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast with our host, Jacqueline Burke. Today's special guest is Bonnie Supernant.
Welcome, Bonnie. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, good. So glad you could join us today.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited to be here and share some of my stories and my experiences and
Oh,
just to
nice.
help women along the ways and other
Yeah,
people as well.
that's fantastic. But through our stories, we can perhaps help others who are struggling out there. You just never know, right?
Yes, that's for sure. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So what I thought we could do is start with diving back into our childhood. So if we could find out like some of your childhood memories, um, what you wanted to be as a child, like when you grew up as an adult, and um, any influences you had along the way.
When I was younger, I'm going to say around 8, I always wanted to help people. I always thought it was important to help one another growing up. I come from a family of 8, and it was always shown in the family too to help one another. So at the age of 8, I would sit and I would just dream and manifest of what I wanted to be when I grew up, when I got older, is to help one another and to see people happy. That was my goal and my dreams, was to help people and see them succeed in life and just be happy on their journey here, because there was a lot of sadness in the world at the time, even when I was growing up. Everybody's lives were different. But yeah. And then I had an experience when I was 10, when I was walking home and it was nighttime. Um, I had that dream of just, the white picket fence and how would it take me to get to be there. And I knew on my choices, I'd have to be happy along the way and to help one another to succeed to get there. Um, yeah, so there's just lots when I was younger. I did do a lot of dreaming I had, and visualization. I'd always visualize myself there and dream about it. It was like the fairy tale, seeing yourself there even though you were younger. And yeah, so there was a lot of people around me that did set good examples as well, seeing their houses and their goals and their dreams as well too, growing up. So that made a big impact on me as well.
Oh, that's good. Did you always
And
want to be
yeah.
in like a healing environment?
I sure did. Yeah, that was very important. Yeah.
Like even as a
Um,
little kid?
as a little kid, yeah, I did, because um, my upbringing too was not the greatest.
Mhm.
I come from a dysfunctional family where there was alcohol and
Yeah.
stuff that was growing up there. So I always took it to heart. Like, I didn't want to see anybody sad or hurt. And I always thought, you know what, when I grow up, I want to help people.
Yeah.
I thought it was very important, to see them, happy and succeed in their lives and not feel the hurt and pain that I did growing up, because there was a lot of times in my life that I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. And I thought there's got to be a way of helping one another through those experiences, even as a young child. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was really important. And I wanted to, even through my high school years, I worked at the senior lodge in Oyen,
Oh,
working around seniors and whatever I could do to help. So it was great, seeing that and experiencing it, the good, the bad, and the ugly we had to
oh,
go through. But you know
yeah.
what, learning from it and really looking at those experiences of it and feeling the energy of it was very important to me, because I could feel it.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, it
amazing.
was a big impact on my life.
Yeah. It's amazing how we can take in their wisdom just being around older people, the older generation back when we grew up, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very important too, because you see them as they age too, from a younger age from where I was, and then how they aged and choices and decisions they made in their life, the impact that they did create on a lot of people around us as well.
Yeah.
I thought was very important. how they overcome things in life of healing, of sickness, of any kind of trauma, how they got through it.
Yeah.
I found very intriguing.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, you've got a big heart, Bonnie. I knew that from the minute I first met you. Yeah. So in high school, were you like the person that everyone would kind of go to talk to? Like, did you just draw people in that way?
In high school, I had friends in all different groups. So it was, my high school years, not a little bit, but I'm not going to say not till I was a little bit older into my 20s where I had that magnetic pull,
Yeah.
because I think it was just learning through the experiences and, coming from a small town, like people knew who you were and what kind of lifestyle you lived and stuff too, like that. So you wanted sometimes to keep that on the low.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but yeah, I was very grateful and thankful for a lot my high school, the teachers. They really helped me through a lot of it because, like I said, I come from there
Yeah.
was alcohol in the family and stuff, and without them pushing me and encouraging me,
Yeah.
um, it was a struggle at times, but I managed to get through it.
Oh.
But yeah,
Did you have
yeah.
support from your siblings through all of this?
Um, there was some that, yes, that supported. We were all kind of, because we all grew up the same. It
Mhm.
was it was hard, and um this sometimes we did have it and sometimes we didn't, right? But there was, everybody was fighting their own little battles in between there because we had a big family. So
Yeah.
yeah. Had
Eight.
lots
That's
of
a lot.
friends to help and great neighbors we had in the family too that would help along the way too. So it was nice.
Oh, that's good. So what changed or what point did you get in your life where you decided to pursue the career you're at now?
I'm gonna say it was probably when I was around about 28.
Mhm.
Um, um, I was at a trade show in Olds, and I was going through there, and there was a lady named Christine Hurley,
Uh-huh.
and she was a psychic medium. And I sat down at the table. I said, "Give me what you got."
Oh,
Well, she was 99% accurate, and she changed my life right from there.
oh,
Um, and I was always intrigued with energy and how
hmm.
people and the mind, how the mind worked. And she was a great inspiration. So she would come up and I would do her bookings for her. And
Oh,
I got to walk the clients in and out of the room. So I got to hear their stories as well. So that started that. And then by the time I was 30, I had like midlife crisis and had a meltdown. And
oh,
um, it was, I believe I didn't know what to believe in at the time because I believe we grew up Catholic, but we'd go to Sunday school and stuff. But I could never understand how, if there's a God and everything's so good, how
yeah,
come all this is happening in the family, right? So it was
yeah.
hard where those beliefs come in. So, but when I met Christine, it really changed my life on there of learning more about this stuff and helping people. And I seen how she changed people's lives
Oh, that's
for the better. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a great inspiration. So it was around 28, 30 when I really started getting into this stuff. And then along the journey, my son and my daughter, we started taking some classes after that. So we kind of went on the journey together. My son kind of dropped back a little bit, but
mhm.
my daughter carried on and we took the journey together.
Oh, that's nice. What type of
Yeah.
classes did you take?
We took a lot of angel classes, connecting with your angels,
Yeah.
um, medicine wheel,
Oh, yeah.
a whole bunch of different things that we had taken, spiritual stuff, learning about the chakras and learning about energy and psychic medium stuff too as well.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah.
Did you go
Yeah,
to any
and
retreats?
um I think we went to about two retreats, just local retreats that we
Mhm.
went around to. And then that's where we decided my daughter was really wanting to open up a store and we ended up doing that. So we become partners in the store together and
Oh, good.
it it took off there. And yeah, so we did a lot of work out of the store and on the road as well, learning to help one another and help people overcome the fear of the power of the mind, of the thoughts that
Oh,
we create is just air, right? And it's
yeah.
learning to get past that was really, really huge.
Yeah, it helps to
So
gain a new perspective too, eh?
yeah, for sure it does. Just
Yeah.
knowing everybody's so different and everybody has their own struggles and that we can overcome them. It's just the matter of believing what you believe in,
Yeah.
and that's in yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So your store, so tell me about that with your daughter. Like, did you do services and or did you have
Yes, yeah.
retail and
Yeah, so we had retail in there. We had crystals, Buddhas. We had a
oh,
lot of different things in there. We had the incense. We had dream catchers. My daughter would make dream catchers.
oh nice.
We host we hosted a lot of classes there. She would do Reiki classes,
Oh nice.
um, dream catchers. I would host psychic medium classes too. Crystal healing level 1, level 2, level 3. We did
Oh nice.
um, working with the angels. So we did a lot of classes out of there. Yes, it was very inspiring and it was very nice connecting
Yeah.
with others and creating that bond with my daughter as well. So
Oh
it was
yeah.
very nice that we got to take that journey together. That's for sure.
Have you continued that journey together? Like as of
Um,
now and
we still do. Right now, I'm been separated, so
okay.
I'm living in a different town right now.
Okay.
Um, but she's doing her stuff. She works at Old Town Square in Olds,
Oh
and
nice.
she does her coffee and a healing session or
Oh perfect.
that. And last Friday she did a meditation, group meditation. So yeah, and then
Oh right on.
for myself, I go out on the road. I do in-person readings and healings as well. So yeah,
Okay, so I
it's
want to
been
know all
busy.
about that. I want to know on the road with Bonnie. What does that look like?
Um, yeah, it's so I go to different little towns and people book in and I'll do I call it it's a healing package. So I'll do a combination of Reiki crystal healing and some sound healing
Yeah.
and a reading and some guidance in through there. So to me it's like putting a new windshield in my glasses. It just
Oh,
clears everything off the body. Um, because it's almost like when we connected to other people's energy, we want that cleared off.
right.
So it's a good way of clearing it off. And yeah, so I usually will go into, I'll book into a motel or I go to people's houses and we'll have group parties. And yeah, so it's learning about just overcoming obstacles and getting past the fear and looking at our goals and our dreams and figuring out what's holding us back. And a lot of it goes back to sometimes childhood trauma
Mm.
um, and understanding where we're so angry and bitter, we could be against our parents or somebody, but understanding about the trauma behind it and what they went through and how they carried on that cycle and they weren't strong enough to or brave enough to break those cycles where it passed down to us.
Mm.
So I feel like I was one of them in my family where I broke those cycles of a lot of things of not being judgmental and just coming from that place of unconditional love and not judging them and knowing that I have that power and that strength to overcome and watch and control my thoughts, right? Because that's where it is all in the power of the mind
Yeah.
because it can just build up and it will stop you from living and you see everybody else where they're at that plateau and you're thinking, what's going on here? How come we can't get past it? Is because of that fear and it's that generational cycle. Sometimes we just create and we just keep following that same pattern. And I'm just not I want to go and I want to try something new and something different because it's a big world out there. So yeah,
It is.
um, I was just in Macklin, Saskatchewan on Saturday. So yeah, no, Friday. So we did people that were coming into the store. I was offering 20-minute free reading guidance, and if they brought in a food donation. So we've been
Oh,
bringing in helping with the local food banks and stuff as well. It's about
oh,
giving
nice.
back and helping one another. Yeah.
Oh, that's so kind. We need a lot of that out there right now.
Yeah, we sure do. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. For sure.
That's good. So you're enjoying like touring then, like you're going from town to town and
Yeah.
having more mobile.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I'm, I can't be in one spot too long. I'm like a cat scratching
Yes.
out of the box. Like, get me out of here. Like, right. Because it's always, it's the energy. When you get to that energy, it's just like, um, there's somebody else that could use your help and your guidance too. So it's like I trust in my guides and the divine and the universe just to guide me to where it's needed. And a lot of times that's people don't understand it, but it's just like I'm
Um,
here for a reason, and
I
that's
totally
the
get it.
fun thing about it.
Yeah.
That's
What's been your favorite place so far that you've
my
traveled to?
my favorite place. I'm going to say um Edson, Alberta. I
Okay.
really enjoyed Edson, yeah, because it was a fun group over there. I did 2 days of in persons over there,
Okay.
and the energy was just they were just so grateful and thankful, and it was just, that's where I was felt really appreciated too. It was just like they were just blown away with the things that I knew and the guidance and wisdom I could offer them. I thought, yeah, I would say Edson.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, that's good to have those experiences, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's good. So if someone was interested in following or learning more about like becoming a psychic medium or doing energy work or Reiki, what would you suggest to them to start? Like say it was brand new, they're just learning. What would you recommend they do?
First, I would suggest self-healing on themselves.
Mm,
Okay, and forgiving yourself and forgiving others, I feel is very important. Because if you're going to come that person where you're going to hold that space for them, you have to come from a place of non-judgment, and you have to have that unconditional love, and you've got to be able to hold space for that client as well.
yeah.
So it does take a lot of time and energy, and to build that up. But you got to make sure you're sitting right in the heart with it as well. Okay. And if I can't, my son used to say to me, Mom, you got to practice what you preach. And exactly. And it was so true when he had said that. Um, so that being said, I really feel, if you start off with forgiveness and going through your healing stuff as well, you can also learn from your clients as well. And no, I always say I'm in school, I'm learning. Every day I'm learning new things. It'll never end. But also right now I'm the student. So I'm learning for, when I connect with different energies and help different people, I'm learning. It's all new to me. And that's where I get excited. I'm like a
Mhm.
newbie. Yay.
Yay.
So it's exciting. But I would say, you know what, learning to forgive is huge to start off because it opens up more of your energy and you're not holding on to a lot of your hurt, your resentment and stuff when you're going in and believing in yourself when you really feel this is a goal and a passion.
Mhm.
It feels like, you've got to be open up to that. You've
Yeah.
got to really, really be open up to that and not be afraid. Um, but yeah, forgiveness, I would say, and then learning about the energy fields and learning about your chakras and learning about different modalities. I
Mm.
always tell my clients, like somebody that's wrote a book, a well-known author, or somebody that's famous, how did they get it? They had to go through these experiences and learn. It wasn't from somebody else. They had to create it somewhere. So
Yeah.
that's where I think it's very interesting where I can say I've used my own and I've created my own. Your best source of knowledge is from your higher self. And that's where I think that's really sticks with me is learning to know that it's within all of us to do it. It's just a matter of finding it and believing it and keeping it going and bringing that creative ideas out. And yeah, but yeah, and learning different classes, like taking some Reiki, some angel classes, other stuff too, I think is very, very, very helpful. But first thing I would just say, learn to forgive yourself and doing mirror work and loving that person in the mirror, looking back at you, because when it comes down to in reality, you and that person are making the decisions. You
Right.
have the outside influence all the way around you, but right there and then it's you and you, because you're holding that emotion. They're not.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel it's very important for self-love as well. Really I started off a little bit backwards. I didn't start doing my self-love until like years ago.
Oh,
Um, but I really didn't start with that. And it's something I think is very important. If somebody new was wanting to start, is start with self-love. Because it's a main key for part of the healing process too, and working with energy and learning who you are, and that breath that we take in, knowing that's your yin and your yang, your
yeah.
balance. It's just, we're not just human. We've got that soul energy
Mhm.
that is operating this vehicle and operating our computer up there,
Yeah.
right? So there's so many different ways to look at it. But when I go back and I look at it, there's things I would say, why didn't I know that then? But I had to learn as I had to going through the cycles of life and on this journey as well.
Oh, nice. Boy, you talk about forgiveness and self-love. I mean, as we get older, I mean, everything just kind of happens without us even seeing it happen or coming at us. So we're constantly working on forgiveness and self-love. And as we get older, do you find?
I do not as much anymore, but I do sometimes. It does come up and trigger.
Yeah,
Um, I always say to myself, what happened 10 minutes ago? I can't go back and
yeah,
change. So why hold on to that energy? Why let it pull me down? Why let it make me feel that way? And it's up to me to control those thoughts and those emotions.
yeah,
And if we want to live in the now moments, I always check, where are you, Bonnie? Are you living in the now or the past? And how I
right.
figure that out is if I'm always thinking about the past moments, then I'm living in the past. So that's where I want to just stay in the now moments, because that's where it is. And this is all we got,
Yeah,
right? Because we can't change any of that back there. So I just stay happy and humble all day, every day, as much as I can, because that's the now moments. And when things do come up from the past, I'm just like, no, 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 you go back that way,
yeah,
and grab control. And I forgive myself. And when I'm having a moment of thinking, oh, Bonnie, that was a, smooth move. And I'm like, own it. I'm going to own it. I'm going to be okay with it. I'm not perfect, but
yeah,
I'm going to own that instead of trying to bury it under the cupboard, or, stick it in the cupboard and leave it there. And then, somebody else comes up and talks about it, and then it's a trigger to me. And I'm just like, no, I've already owned it. Don't need to go there. Or I'll change the subject, get off the things that they're talking about, and stay in the now moments.
that's cool. That's such great advice. That's wonderful because you go from like stages in your life. And I think the key is that you don't remind yourself, like for anyone that's watching. It's easy to not remind ourselves. We just kind of deal with things as they come along. But it's important, to do that tap on the shoulder and, remind ourselves that, hey, you know what? That's the past and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful advice, Bonnie. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's one of the biggest things we have that will stop us and put us in that hold for, it could be for a week, could be for 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I've just learned, like, no, I always ask myself, what's the payoff? Are you going to be happy or are you going to be sad?
Yeah.
Are you going to live in the past or are you going to live in the now? Here's your choices. Where
Yeah.
do you feel the best? I feel better in the now.
Oh, nice. That's so cool. Um, okay, so with what you know now, how would you, what would you say to your younger self?
what would I say to myself? I love you. I'm proud of you, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we're doing it, right? And that's the thing. Like, and there was a lot of emotion back then, and even through the years. But to her, I would say, "I'm proud of you. You're beautiful. We've got this, and we're going to just keep on moving forward. We have no other choice but to move forward because backwards
Yeah.
doesn't. There's no payoff.
Yeah.
No payoff."
Ah, nice. Like to just wrap yourself up into little Bonnie and give her a hug and let her know it'll be okay, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I find that's very important. I do give myself a lot of hugs, a
Good.
lot, because I don't want her to leave me ever again, because it was a piece of me that was gone, and she's back, and she ain't going anywhere.
Oh, good.
Nope, no more. I've got her. I cried so many tears for her to come back, and she's here, and I'm not letting her go.
Oh, good. That is so cool. You just so happy and you're doing you, and that is such the main thing to focus on, eh? Like it's just so important, to focus on like loving yourself. And because if you can't have someone else to love you, to make you feel loved, you have to love yourself first. And, listening to you is just kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important too, because I used to say to myself, we always, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. Where's the happiness? Like I always tell some of my clients, your mom, your dad, your siblings, everybody around you, they can make you happy for short periods of time.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you want that unconditional, that happiness all the time, that's got to come within. That's up to you. That's not up to them. That's totally up to you. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn because I was a giver and I've given a lot. And I would give all my happiness to everybody else. And then I was left with the tears. So I'm like, nope, no more.
Yeah.
So understanding, and it's controlling those emotions and stuff, and being proud and just being you.
Yeah.
We don't have to mask to be anybody else. I'm not better than anybody else. I just want to be me
Yeah.
and being content of who you are and what you look like. And those were struggles I had with. I mean, I used to be 265 pounds and I had
Okay.
skin tags all the way around my neck
Yeah.
and I could not look in the mirror. Now I learned to, forgive her and stuff because I gave my power away and I've got my power back now and it feels good. And I'm very happy and grateful for the changes in my life. The experiences that people have given me,
Oh,
all the obstacles and challenges. I wouldn't be who I am without them in my life.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing. And I don't hate anybody. I just feel like what's the payoff? I learned lessons from them. I want to give you a high five. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's the thing, you got to find the goodness in everything, even when it's a tower, so things are crashing and falling down. There's people want change. We need those towers in order for things to move. Because if things are always at a standstill, we need something to come in there and shake it up. If we're crying and we're praying and we're doing all this stuff and we want change, well, it takes two to tango. Something's got to give here.
Yeah.
So to me, when something comes up, I get excited, and other people are like, "You're weird," and I'm like, "No, now things have changed. Now things have moved because this is something. It didn't unfold the way you wanted it to, but you know what? It got that person moving. It got that change happening."
Oh, that's so good. Right on. Um, okay, so we're gonna kind of switch gears and we're gonna go off and talk about so what's your favorite funny story?
My favorite funny story.
Now it could be to
I'm
do with your career, it could be, veering off into maybe something you and your daughter experienced together, or, in starting the store, or like just something that kind of sticks in the back of your mind, makes you smile every now and then.
One story I will talk about is there was me and my sister and a good friend that I grew up with. We grew up with neighbors, and I'm going to say we're probably about 11, 12, and 13. And we lived in a little town, and it was like a little village. There's probably like six people that live there now.
Oh, wow.
And um, we'd pretend we were at a drive-in, so there'd be an old vehicle sitting in the farm field.
Yeah.
We'd go sit in that, sneak a cigarette, and go
Oh,
pretend we were watching a movie, right? So that's a good memory for me because we would laugh. We had a lot of good times, and yeah, those are good. That was good memories. Um, Memories in the store. Yeah, with my daughter Amber. Yeah, there's lots of good memories there. We did have a couple girls, younger girls had come in and they were a different religion. I won't say the
mhm.
religion, but they had come in and there was me and my daughter and another lady in there. And um, they had told my daughter she was going to hell because of
Oh,
what we had done.
oh,
So, and I'll never forget it. And we chuckle about this all the time still. And so my daughter said, well, how about if um, you learn about what we do and you should learn, I'll learn about what you do. And so they were kind of talking and back and forth. And, my daughter had just said, to them, like, how do you want me? Like, do you want me to pray like this? Do you want me, and it was
yeah.
all these different things. And they were just looking at her and they're just like, what do you mean? And then it was just a funny story how it all unfolded anyways. So anyways, I had come out of my healing room and they were talking about hell and I'm like, okay. And I asked them where hell was and they said, well, down there. And I'm like, well, I said, the funny thing is, I said, and I'm not being rude, but you know what? If hell's down there, then I'm going to push you a carrot up. I'm going to push you a tree. I'm going to push you that. And I said, not only that, why do we put our loved ones in the ground?
Yeah.
And those two kids, they sat there and they just looked at us and my daughter, she gave them a hug after they left and all that. It was a very neat experience.
That's cool.
Um, but it was like not to come in and judge. And my daughter, she was just like on top of them, like wanting them to learn and
Yeah.
not to be judgmental on that. So yeah, it was a good story. And some of it was funny. Like I said, I'm going to push you up a
Yeah.
carrot and I'm going to push you up a tree and here's some potatoes. And,
Yeah.
but, so it balances out. You have to find the sense of humor in it either. And
Yeah.
those kids, they were just young girls. I'm going to say about 13.
Oh,
But when they left, they were smiling. Like it was a good experience about the store too, even for us too, because we weren't expecting that either to come
yeah.
in and you guys are bad for doing this, but especially from a younger generation, it was just like, whoa, well, let's just stop that. But my daughter, she handled it very well, so
Oh, good.
it was good. Yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know what? In a way, you're saying I'm going to give you a gift. You're giving them sustenance and, a tree and energy and, so
yeah.
that's a gift. Yeah, that is very nice. That's a neat story, Bonnie. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. It
Cool.
was just, just more, that's again, people will come in and judge. It is religion and faith and all that. And we all believe in the same creator, but they're just all labeled differently. And that's the
Yeah,
thing, right? They don't get that, but they feel theirs is right because that's all they've known growing up. And it's just
yeah,
like, let's just change this around a little bit. Just have a little, like my daughter said,
yeah,
you learn from us and we'll learn from you, right? So I love the way she handled it. It was very nice. Yeah.
yeah. It's tough to see, when there's a lot of judgment on things that people just don't understand. Like they would rather judge something than take a moment to learn about it. Um, I find like your story right there, just they probably stopped them in their tracks and made them think a little bit. But I think it is so important to take that moment, instead of judging, to learn about what someone else is doing so that you have a clear understanding, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'd like to see more of that in our world, I think, like we need to somehow find a way to help others see that it's not worth the judgment, take a moment, learn, and then have an opinion, but not judge.
Yeah, let's hear both sides of the story, right? And
Yeah.
then, and that's it. But some of them, they get too much into it and it's all they know, right? And they're not willing to take a risk and explore other options and look at different sides of all religions or what
Yeah.
people believe in, right? So it's like everybody's got an opinion if we're tall, skinny, this way, that way.
Yeah.
So it goes in all areas of the cycle of life.
Yeah. Isn't that true? I mean, when I think of like being a young girl, then a mother, and now I guess I'm in my getting into my golden years. Um, things change. We have like your body's constantly changing, your mind, your opinions, your perspective. And then God love you if you get menopause, right? I mean, that just puts a whole new look on things. But yeah, I mean, you just have to go with it, I guess, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, and that's another thing about even menopause, right? Like, a lot of women I know went through it. I had never went through it, so I embraced enjoying, loving my energy, and like my daughter, I learned a lot from her. Like
Yeah.
even through, she even has the course to do the red tent. Um, and she's like, you got to embrace your cycles. You got to embrace being a woman. We used to
Hmm.
hate it, because we had that monthly thing coming up and we thought it was annoying, a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
it was just like,
Yeah.
it's like, but we never honored it either, right? So when a person starts to honor it and understand why we're having it and how powerful and how beautiful it really is,
Yeah.
um, then we have a better understanding and then we don't get those side effects as much. So I'm very grateful and thankful I never hit any of it.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
So yeah. So yeah, because I just turned 55 on the 30th.
Oh,
So yeah. And a lot of people, haven't you hit it? I'm like, no,
that's
no,
amazing. I'm going to
so
be
yeah,
57, and
yeah.
it's been a good 12 years I've been knee deep in this stuff. So,
Oh, so you need to embrace it. Love
yeah.
being a woman, right? And that
Yeah.
it switches it. It's all in the mind, right? The power of the mind again. Because we hear even growing up when we're younger about, our moms and how their cycles were and how this was and how this was. And right away it impacts our mind and we figure we're going to have it. This is what we're going to go through. And then we expect it comes on. Yeah, I got it and I got it. And that's what we keep telling us. I'm just like, no, I don't have it.
Yeah.
So it's reprogramming that whole mind system, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel for the women out there that are walking around with the fans and all that. I kind of skipped over things. I've never had any of the symptoms of it. So
Oh, that
yeah.
you need to write a book. You really
Yeah,
do.
that'll be I would love to write a book. That is one of my next manifestations. And just like here, this is one of my
Oh,
manifestations too that's coming true is to be on a podcast,
oh,
doing
wonderful.
exactly what we're doing. So yes, and this
Oh,
is part of it, my manifestation that is happening. So
oh,
yeah,
yay. I'm so happy to hear that, Bonnie. That's
yes,
fantastic. Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, write a book. My goodness, like the manifesting is even a big thing that people need to really understand.
yeah, that's another thing. And it takes time and patience, right? And then when we're manifesting, we forget if we're constantly manifesting all the time, we've got to remember we've got to water the seeds that we manifested from a while ago and let them grow as well, make room for them to come in. But we're constantly
Yeah,
manifestation like this and this and this and this. Well, and then they wonder, well, okay, well, that hasn't happened, or some of it does come up, and then we forget to water it.
yeah. Oh,
It's just like this being presented. This is one of the seeds that I had. So it was up to me to say, yes, I would love to join your podcast
yeah.
and water it
Yeah.
so that manifestation can grow even further. Right. So
Oh,
that's the thing is being brave and being taking that courage and stepping forward into your manifestations because a lot of people do have manifestations that are right in their face but
yeah.
aren't brave enough or have the fear of not walking into it because they're worried what other people are going to say or do, right? And it's just like overcoming that. That's where that struggle is. It's just like, no, I'm doing it. I'm doing this.
That's awesome. That's so good. Um, okay. So I want to also ask you, so you work with a lot of people. So what is one of the nicest compliments you've received?
One of the nicest compliments I've received quite a few. I'm gonna be honest here. Some of them are very emotional about saving their lives, that they
Oh,
were going to end their lives,
oh,
and that I have helped them and they're still living.
oh,
And yeah, so those ones are very powerful and very meaningful.
mhm.
Um, and overcoming, even with marriages or
Mhm.
breakups, helping them overcome that too. Or getting out of very unhealthy relationships where there is physical abuse that's been
Mm,
going on, and to help them overcome that and know that there is hope and faith and that they can start a new life. It's that fear
yeah.
moving forward. So I'm going to just, I would say the nicest compliment is just saving somebody's life. Like,
Yeah.
and that's it, it's very powerful and it's a big impact on my heart,
Oh.
knowing that, if one person can do that. Could you imagine
Mhm.
how many other people could do it when we step forward and collaborate together?
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah, you can just take that moment and put others first and help them
Yeah.
when they need help. And, just listening to you today, I know, I hope, and I can just see there's going to be women out there that are just going to be, oh, thank goodness. Now I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Because we
forgiveness
just,
is sticking with me, you
yeah.
know.
And that's, and forgiving yourself for staying in that relationship, for
Yeah.
staying and doing those things. It's, one experience like, even from my mom, I had said to my sister the other day, because well, a lot of us are, most of us are we're all, some are on their second marriages or not. I would say the last of the Mohicans
Oh.
till, and end up, because it was always, for better, for worse, you stick through and all that. It doesn't matter how bad it gets, but when it starts affecting the self-esteem and stuff, that's where we've got to put on the brakes, right? And it's hard because I seen that growing up. But now I said to my sister the other day, I said, you know what? I'm glad we got the chance to experience this. And it's showing my parents, because they're both deceased,
Yes.
um, that my mom never got that chance.
Oh.
She never got that chance to experience that. But um, we did. We got to experience and what we do with it, right? So that's where, I always think about that too. It's just like, I know they're proud of me over there for doing it because it was a hard struggle,
Yeah.
but I did it and it was scary and it was emotional. I have no hate for my ex-husband.
Yeah.
Um, I wish him the best, and I just want to see him happy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was 35 years together since I
Oh
was
my goodness.
18. So
Oh
we're going
wow.
back to 1988 when we met. So
Oh,
yeah. And that, growing up in the family, it was just like, you stay with them. It doesn't matter. You stay. And that's what love is. And
yeah.
that was a cycle that I had to break too. So
Yeah. Sometimes you show them more love by letting them go,
yeah,
you know?
yes, you betcha. I agree with that 100%. I'm not doing this to be mean, to be
Yeah.
hurtful, but it's for your well-being. It's for my well-being.
Yeah.
And healing needs to happen,
Yeah.
you know?
That's,
Yeah, I,
it would be, if more people could understand that, like we need to part because I love you, not the other way, you know? Like it's
exactly.
important. That's when true healing can start, and
Yeah,
begin to really work. You know, we can say we're healed, but really you will know when you're healed. You know, it's
Yeah.
different. You feel it rather than just saying,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Actions always speak louder than words.
they do. Well,
Yeah. And sometimes
Bonnie,
it's the
I
hard time is
appreciate,
taking that action.
yeah, right. So appreciate you being here today with me. It's been
Yeah.
lovely just listening to you. And I appreciate you taking the time from your day. I know you're working, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. So I just like to thank you, and I hope you can come back and join us again, and we can continue Bonnie's story.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure and it's an honor. And yeah,
Well, thank you,
it's
Bonnie.
all right.
Thank you for joining us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.